Welcome back, friends. In this video, we're going to learn about the right join. So let's summarize what we've done so far in another form. So first of all, remember, enter join. What's the purpose here? Select records that match between two tables. And the left join now, left join. In other words, we can say that it basically select all records from the left table. You can think of it that way in simple English. So now, naturally enough, we're going to talk about the right join. And here the purpose is select all records from the right table. That's how you think of these simply. All right, let's take a look at an example. So here, to make the example a little richer, go into here and then right-click on orders. And then go to script table as, and then go down to insert into. So I'm going to leave this here for a second, make sure I catch up. Go into new query editor window. And what is this that it generates for us? Let's take a look through it carefully. So I have insert into, I have the names of the fields, and down below I have these values. And here, if you look at it carefully, all you see is the name of the field and then the data type. Name of the next field and then the next data type. Name of the next field and the name of the data type. Name of the next field and the name of the data type. So here, to take care of this is what we're going to do. Remember, the first quantity is an integer that represents the order ID. You see it right there in front of you. That's why I like using this. I don't have to remember the field names. So you just start sticking values in, and you don't need these right here. You don't need those. They just put those in there like that. So you know what to do in the data type and the name of the field. That's all. Okay. So the first one is the order ID. Say I put in an order ID of 10. The next item would be the item itself. So remember, there was like a blouse, shirt, whatever. I'm going to say belt here. And again, make sure that goes between single quotes like that. The quantities, say somebody bought 3 of these and maybe they're very good quality belts, $100. And then you close that. So now you can get rid of these. Remember, these here are just telling you what to enter and a data type. After that, you can get rid of them. And it looks like a standard insert into. And again, if you want to continue, what do? Well, you grab this, you do Control C, and then Control V down below to repeat it at least one time. And here you see where it says incorrect syntax. So in the one below, right here, you can put a comma if you like. Or if you want, you can put the comma at the end of the first one. It works either way. So I'm just going to put it here just to show you that you can. And let's just do one more record here. So I'm going to put some other ID, say 14. And then I'm not sure what people bought there, maybe some shoes or something. It doesn't really matter too much. Say 5 pairs or something like that, and it costs $200. So remember, this here represents one record, and that there's another record now, okay? All right, so with this in place, notice that when you run this, it adds the use my dbase go directly for you. And again, this is useful if you're switching between database contexts. So remember, if you're beginning, for example, in AdventureWorks and you have that context set, and you can't access tables in my dbase, then you got to type this at the top. Use my dbase go, switch contexts. All right, I'm going to give this a run here, execute, and it says 2 rows affected. Good. Let's take a look now inside the orders. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to say select star from, and then I'll say orders. Let's see what's inside it. All right, so you've got these records here, several of them now, like that. So maybe pause the video and make sure you have something similar. It doesn't have to be the same, but something like it. And if you don't, then edit the table so that it looks like this roughly. I'll leave that to you as an exercise. Remember, right click, edit top 200 rows, enter these values, that's all. All right. So now, go back into the setup window over here where I started making the notes. I'm going to make this a little smaller so everything is visible, 150%, like that. Okay. So let's continue here, and let's do the join. So I'm going to say the following. I'm going to say select, and this time I'm going to say again from. Let's define the from first. So I'm going to type the following. I'm going to say customers as C. I'm aliasing to make it easy. And then I'm going to say right join, like that, instead of inner or left join. Orders as O. And now we specify the field that should be used to join them. In our case, it's the order ID. So I'll type on C.order ID. Remember, C represents the customers table, so you can do that. And here I'm going to say O.order ID. So we're right joining these two tables, customers and orders. And remember, right join in simple English means select all the records from the right table, just like the left means select all the records from the left table. All right, let's add our fields now. So this is just a join. Let's add the field now. You can see what's happening here. I'm going to say select customer name. And notice that I can just type that because the customer name exists only in the customers table. We don't even have to do anything beyond that, you see? If you wanted to, you could type here C dot, like that. So I just wanted to go over aliasing just so to remind you that it's possible. And if you want, you can do it this way, C dot customer name. But again, but it's only one table, you don't need to do it. It will still be found correctly. All right, put in the quantity next. And again, the quantity, you could type O dot quantity, but you don't need it because the quantity is in only one of the tables. Then I'm going to say here total. Again, in only one of the tables. All right. And here, let me put the, like that, the orders over here. It's good. All right, after the total, I'm going to say O dot order ID. And for this one, you have to specify this, because if you don't, remember, it's going to give you one of these ambiguity errors, you see? Ambiguous column name order ID, because it's in both tables. So just preface it by typing, for example, O dot order ID. All right, I'll leave this here for a second to make sure I catch up. So if you look at this carefully, nothing too new here. All right. Let's highlight, give it a go, hit execute, and take a look at something here. Remember, the customer name is coming from essentially the customer table, but these other fields like quantity, total, order ID are coming from the orders table. And take a look. Wherever there's information missing in the table on the left side in this case, so when there's information missing in the customer table, what gets stuck in there? A null. You see that? So we're taking, remember, the right join does this. Select all the records from the right table. These are the records from the right table, if you look at them carefully. And where the right table has records, like all of these, for example, right here, but the left table doesn't have them, next to the blue ones here, you put the null. You see that? So we're grabbing all the records from the table on the right, and wherever records are missing on the left, they just get a null. When we did the left join, it was the other way, wasn't it? We grabbed all the records from the left table, and wherever records were missing in the table on the right side, those were given the value null. So it's the opposite of that. All right? And believe it or not, that is it for this one. So I'm just going to pull this down a little bit, make sure you can see all the code. And remember, as before, let's go over this. Although I'm sure you can write it down by now yourself. We've done it enough times to know. So remember, from runs first, then on, and lastly select. Right? That's the logical execution order of the clauses. And as before, if you wanted to, Remember, because once you have a join, that basically gives you a new table. You can group it, you can sort it, you can subset it using where, and all of the usual stuff. All right, friends, that is it. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next one.